Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get back on the channel. Paul Webb, he works for BCB Promotions. It's been a while since I've had him on, but it's always good to get you back on to talk about your shows. Of course, you've got quite a few coming up. Of course, you've got this one tomorrow, and then you've got one. Is it next week on Box Nation?
Yeah, so thanks for having me back on again as always. So yeah, we've got the show tomorrow night at the East Side Rooms in Birmingham, and then we've got the Big Box Nation card on the 8th of March in Wolverhampton, and then March 28th we're at Dudley Town Hall. So we had our first show last week of 2025, so we've got the four shows scheduled in total between the start of the year and the end of March, and then it will just carry on from there, really. I think we're aiming for 17, 18 shows again this year, and
Mm.
between the various towns and cities that we put these shows on, I expect we'll do that and more, as well as obviously being on, having our fighters on shows up and down the country. The same weekend we've got Aaron Bowen fighting over in Ireland on that undercard as well, and then the
Oh yeah,
March
just
7th.
briefly, can
Yeah,
we talk about Aaron Bowen's fight?
of course. Yeah. So, I mean, Aaron is, a big ticket seller. We all know that, and he brought a huge amount of fans with him last time. But he's a real talent, and his last fight was maybe not trickier than expected. I think he made it a bit of a war, and he probably could have fought a little bit easier, but he got the job done. He had a long time out, and he works very, very hard. He's a really popular lad, and obviously Matchroom. I've had him for since turn really, and he's got a lot of support from those guys and big opportunities will come through. And being on a really good card, that Irish card, Crocker Donovan, I think it's an excellent bill to be fair, and the Irish fans always turn out, so it'd be a good show for him to be a part of.
And who do you reckon wins that Crocker Donovan fight?
I, hmm, I'd probably lean more towards Crocker. I've seen Donovan live once. I think it's a very evenly matched fight. I think, but if you were to put my bets on, I'd probably lean more towards Crocker. But I do think the fight will go the distance. But I think Crocker gets the win.
I think Crocker might nick it on points as well. Because he had a good fight with Connor Walker, didn't he, Crocker?
He did. I mean, I was there for that one. That was the fight, and I thought that Connor boxed as he does. He boxed really well. He made it a rough, tough fight. I think Crocker is a very good boxer, and he likes to keep things at range. And he's a very skillful boxer. And Connor just bullied him at times in the fight, but it's whether Donovan can do the same kind of thing again. Donovan, he's got a good skill set himself, and it's like it's a well matched fight. But I think I'm definitely leaning towards Crocker.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and we'll run through the show you've got tomorrow. Of course, it's now a five fight card. Originally meant to be a six fight card.
Yeah, as always, it's so often with these shows that the fights fall out for various reasons. We had it last week. We lost a couple of fights late on for the Northampton show, and it can happen it happened on the Saudi show the other week, and they managed
Mm.
to spend millions of pounds to salvage it, and we don't have those same luxuries on our shows. But it's still a strong card with a lot of good, talented fighters on there, and it'd be interesting, all in important fights, so it'd be a really good one. And as I say, it'd be nice to have had the full roster on, but still a strong card.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, well, should we start with Jamie Edwards v Simaz Velosnos, 4 rounds? Talk about that
Yeah,
fight.
Jamie, again from Coventry, really, really popular lad. He looked sensational in his debut, getting a knockout in his first fight. His second fight was a lot tougher, and by his own admission, he really kind of gassed towards the end and came away with a draw, and then had his injury, and he's not boxed since. So he's been out for a good long while, and coming back in against someone like Simas, who we all like, everyone at BCB's, a real supporter of his because he's outboxed over 120 times. He's ever reliable. He's the perfect journeyman opponent, and I don't think he'd be offended by being called that. And
Mm.
he gives the rounds, and that's what Jamie needs after this time away. He probably doesn't need a 30-second knockout. He needs to get in there, complete the full 4 rounds, and show that
Because Jamie made his debut on the River Wilson Bent Ryan Kelly card, didn't he?
He did, and alongside Brandon Bethel making his debut that night as well, and both of them came away with early knockouts. So it was a really impressive
And I was
start.
it
And
was it who did Jamie fight? Was it Stu Greener?
yeah, and then it was Logan Pauling for Brandon. So yeah, so it was in the stew, and it was so impressive. And to the point where, like in his second fight, he may have gone in there thinking he'd do the same again, but he's a switched on lad, Jamie. He knows how important this one is, and the main thing is he's fit and healthy and ready to go, and hopefully got a big 2025 for him. Get him active, most importantly.
And he does good enough amount of tickets as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Coventry and Leamington and that area seems to be doing well for that. We've got Joe Bourne on our show on March the 8th. He's a really popular lad from Leamington. And then Jamie from Carve, obviously Aaron Bowen,
Mm.
same. It seems to be a good fight city. There aren't a huge amount of shows on in Coventry. They've had one or two at the old Sky Dome,
Yeah.
but they don't have a huge amount of boxing in the city. A lot of the time they have to come to Birmingham, but the East Side Rooms is a short journey down the motorway from Coventry, so there'll be plenty of fans making that journey.
Would you guys be? Of course, you've got a few lads from Coventry now coming on your shows. Jamie being one of them. Would you think about doing a show in Coventry, maybe? Or
I think it's always a consideration for new venues. I mean, we obviously we deal with Northampton. We haven't historically put on shows in the East Midlands like Leicester and Nottingham in that area. With the guys that have that kind of sewn up. But Coventry, it's definitely crying out for a busy small hall promoter. So if we get more guys coming through, there's never say never. Northampton's become so strong for us now.
yes.
There's no reason that other towns and cities couldn't. And we're always willing to put on if there's guys that can put bums on seats and have got ability, then it's something we'll always consider.
And of course, we touched on Simaz a minute ago. It's tough as they come, and he's been on your show. Don't know. I've lost count how many times now he's been
I,
on.
I think I've seen Simas more than any of our own fighters live. As I say, he's a really well, I can't say highly of him. He's a really good lad. He comes in, does the job. Never any fuss, never any hassle. He's on time. His weight's always right. He's a model professional, and I don't know how many more years he wants to keep doing this, but he's in good nick. He very rarely gets stopped, so he seems happy to be doing what he's doing, and we're happy to have him on our shows.
hmm And Yaya Abdullah v Juan Alberto Batista. I haven't seen Juan Alberto Batista box before, so it'll be interesting to see how he does against Yaya Abdullah. That's another 4 round fight. Talk about that contest.
Yeah, Yahya Abdullah, it's his third fight. Both of his fights have been on our shows. He's a really exciting talent, to be fair, Yahya. Him and Yusuf Ibrahim, the brothers. Yusuf's actually fought Batista before, going the distance with him. Yahya is one of those characters where there are some people in the sport that, they don't shout out and don't say what they want and don't big themselves up, but he certainly does, and that's a good thing. He wants big opportunities and he wants to get on big cards, big shows, and he's looked good in his first two fights. My dad's a photographer for us at BCB now, and he's one of his favourite fighters to watch because he is so exciting. He comes out there and looks to throw a lot of punches. I mean, Alberto Batista, like so many South American opponents that have relocated into Europe to get those opportunities and to be boxing on these shows. It'll be a hell of a task for Yaya if he gets him out of there, like so often with these kind of opponents. But it'd be interesting to see and also gauge his performance against others that have boxed him. And he got announced a couple of weeks ago as a fairly late addition. He's not one of our signed fighters, Yaya, but both of his fights have been on our shows, and he brings a really good set of fans in as well. He brings a lot of young supporters, which is always good to see that kind of next generation coming through, and hopefully they'll be out in numbers again.
100%. And Nick, another 4 round fight. Nico Ogbeide v Liam
Fitzmaurice, yeah.
Fitzmaurice. That's another 4 round fight. And yeah, talk about Nico Ogbeide.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about Nico. He's a really mature character. He's someone that's not afraid to kind of speak his mind and really push what he wants. And he's been learning and improving every time. We do the corners, or BCB do the corner for Nico, but he trains elsewhere. But he's always willing to go into other gyms. He's willing to spar with anyone. He wants titles. He wants opportunities, and
Was he made? Has he been ordered to fight for the Midlands title?
yeah, so in the latest round of matchups from the Midlands, they put him matched to Connor Baker, another one of our boxers.
Hmm.
It's on paper a really good matchup, but I'm sure it's a fight that both of them would take. Whether it happens, a lot of these, it's good to see the Midlands board looking to push these fights and get more, try to get more title shots throughout the year.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they put pairings together, there's always sometimes there's some obvious reasons why that fight won't happen. A won't fight B, or they've got other opportunities elsewhere. But that's one that could potentially happen later down the line. And as I say, Nico's in with someone in Liam Fitzmaurice who I have to admit I've not seen before.
He's new
Haven't
to
seen him
this.
box.
He's
So
new to the away corner scene.
yeah, I think if I stand right, you know these numbers better than me. I think it's his second fight, if I stand corrected.
I
So
believe
I
he
could
had
be
his.
wrong.
I believe you're right. I believe he had his debut on the Sky Sports show, Callum Simpson v Steve Woodall, which was their
Yeah.
first show, and he got
So he's
stopped. I believe he got stopped by one of their prospects.
Yeah, and when you're going in with elite level guys like that, I mean, it'd be a good test for Nico to see how he compares compared to that first performance, but also from Liam's side to see whether he can make those adjustments and see the fight out safely. Because if that is what he wants to be, then getting plenty of stoppages early on is not going to do his journeyman career much good. So, but yeah, really looking forward to seeing Nico out there. He's again another good ticket seller, and he's got a solid fan base that come out and see him. And he's got some good sponsors on board now, so he's training full time, which is massive. As all the fighters that are able to do that know the difference it makes. So he's mega grateful for those sponsors, and so are we for our shows as well. They do make a huge difference. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Nico back out again.
Yeah, and he was one. He said because I had him on. Can't remember when I last had him on, but I had him on, and he wanted the Adam Hamed fight.
Yes, yeah. I think that got potentially may have got close at a time, or it certainly got discussed. But as I say, he wants that to him. I think he saw that as a winnable fight and a big opportunity. But those opportunities will come for him because he stays fit year round. And again, as we saw last week in Saudi, those guys that are willing to live in the gym and always be close to weight, that it may be for Nico that the opportunity comes at short notice on a big bill. We don't know. It may be that he gets 10 weeks of preparation for it, but he's the kind of character who will be ready, and I know he'll take whatever opportunity he's given.
Yeah, 100%. And another fight. This time it's 6 rounds. Between Hamza Azim v Shane Smith, which Shane was on your show last week as well. He's had a couple of fights on your show as well, Shane. But Hamza, I believe he's coming off a 30-second KO win.
Yeah, so Hamza absolutely demolished Martin Shaw when that fight got made, because Martin is a bit of a live or die character. He'll either put on an absolute war or he just get stopped. And again, he's
Yeah.
a brilliant character, and I love watching him fight. And before the fight, I remember thinking, Hamza, this is his chance now. If he can set up on him early and get him hurt like Ryan Woolridge did,
Yeah.
then he will. But yeah, 31 seconds from start to finish. But I think he started unraveling after about 20. So it was great for Hamza. I think it's what he needed. Let his hand have a fight where he could really let his hands go and throw some punches, and he got the stoppage. And I'm not. He certainly won't necessarily do that this time round because Shane Smith is a really tough guy. The two of them have boxed before over 4 rounds. This time up at 6. Shane is a really good kid. So he's got Adam Harper in his corner, former
Yeah.
BCB fighter, of course. Adam looks after him from a managing and coaching point of view, and Shane is still figuring out what it is to be the opponent, because Shane just wants to fight and he wants to win. And there are times where he does all the right things for 20, 30 seconds. He's defensive, he tucks up and moves. And then other times where he just wants to have a scrap. And it's great for us, and it's great for the fans watching. But I know Adam in his corner always gives him the right instructions and tells him what to do. And this will be a good test it's a good test for Hamza to see the improvements that he's made, certainly since the first fight, and being over 6 rounds as well. Because he's got obviously ambitions of his own. He'll hopefully become 8-0. And as we know, when you get to that sort of record, then those first opportunities do come. So hopefully that will come sooner rather than later for him.
Yeah, and I believe it was Shane Smith's debut as well when he fought him, and I believe they fought sort of this time last year as well.
Yeah, so he was this time last year, and since then, Shane's boxed the likes of people like Liam Gold, and who've fought at Midlands level, and he has been chucked in the deep end. But Adam's got a lot of faith in him, and the two of them are on a that kind of journey together, which is it's nice to see. I was a big supporter of Adam as a fighter,
Yeah.
and I know that he cares about his boxers, and he does a lot of work in the community with young kids as well. And with Shane being a professional fighter for him, I'm sure there'll be a lot more that will go with Adam, particularly those from Tewkesbury and that part of the world. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that one. Let's see what improvements, as I say, he's made, and can you get Shane Smith out of there? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight for sure. And yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so Troy Coleman v Robbie Chapman. That's 4 rounds. And Troy Coleman, of course, current Midlands champion.
He is, and we'd have liked to. Ideally, we wanted to have Troy in a Midlands title defence on this show, but it's not quite happened that way. So he is boxing over in a 4 round, in a tick over fight for him because
Mhm.
he took that opportunity over in Grantham and as the away fighter, and he's never worried about being the away fighter. He's boxed all over the world. He's a real traveller, not just in terms of his boxing, but that's just his lifestyle, how he likes to be. But he's back home in Burntwood now, and after picking up that Midlands title. We've seen so many guys win that belt and then get the English or get, a shot at a WBO European on a big bill.
Like Ben Vong.
Yeah, exactly, just like Ben has, and many others as well. And Jermaine Osborne Edwards fighting for the English title as well,
That's
March
next
7th.
week
So
against Sean
yeah,
Oakes.
exactly. So those opportunities will come, and I think it would just be nice for Troy to be boxing at home. I'm from Lichfield myself, near Burntwood, where Troy is, and it's not really known for its boxing, but the gym he's at, Jack Finland training at the same gym as well. He's turned pro, and it'd be really exciting just to see him back out with that kind of home support. But I know that he's got big ambitions still. He signed with BCB, and he won that Midlands title in his first fight under our banner. And it was great. It was a brilliant performance on the road, and hopefully he comes through. Robbie again, another tough, durable guy, and if
Hmm.
Troy goes through this one with a win, and then next fight could be anything. So let's see what happens.
Yes, 100%. And before I let you go, tell the fans what time the doors open and roughly what time the first fight is. And is it getting streamed on BCB YouTube?
This one isn't being streamed, so the only way to watch this particular show will be live. So if for those in the Birmingham area, it's 7:30 p.m. first bell. Said 5 fight cards, some really good fights on there, and just come out and support these guys. Get that support in early. It's a really good venue as well. The East Side Rooms. It's a nice hotel with a really good setup. The staff are great and they always look after us there. So yeah, anyone that able, there will be tickets, standard tickets on the door, £45. So get your head down to Birmingham and also our other shows coming up. So it's a busy few weeks for us, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you all there.
Yeah, and from me, Paul, thank you for your time as always, and good luck with the show tomorrow.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate your time.
Bye.